What's up and welcome back to the channel. The name is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads and check out the links posted down below. Thank you. So I think after the email that we received earlier on, I didn't really expect to receive yet another one with another update. And certainly not an email written like this. In my opinion, it's very disrespectful to the fans and there's a lot of things to unpack from this email. So here we have it. Hasbro Pulse is excited as we approach the delivery of Unicron. We recognise that many backers are curious about differences between the final product images and the forced prototype images shared in 2019 and when fans will receive their Unicron. This project was the first endeavour undertaken by the Transformers brand that invited fans to view the process of the creation of a toy from reveal of original prototypes to the final product. Throughout the process, changes are constantly made from quality and durability to performance and priorities that meet our standards. Over the course of the past 15 months, the Transformers team has been working diligently to ensure we deliver the highest quality converting Unicron figure, and through the process we have continually iterated the construction of the product and changes along the way. Hasbro Pulse prides ourselves on transparency and we have shared updated versions along the way. We appreciate the passion of our Transformers fans and are super excited to get our legendary Unicron into your hands. Contact our Pulse customer service team with any additional questions. Now that is the email, and there's a couple of things I'm going to unpack from that. First of all, what I'm going to say is contact the Pulse customer service team and keep telling them how unhappy you are and reiterate to them consistently how unhappy you are, because this is not good enough. This email is essentially them trying to wash their hands of this and basically saying, well, it's on you that this happened, deal with it. This is a horrific response to fans. This is not something that we've expected whatsoever in terms of paying so much money for this item and then basically getting a bait and switch towards the end. So I'm going to unpack the email now. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. So they say, we recognise many backers are curious about differences between the final product images and the forced prototype images shared in 2019. I don't think people are curious. I actually think they're furious with it, and rightly so, because up on the page now, as you can see here, as I'm shown here, the same images are still being promoted. At the top of the page, you still have Unicron with 2 sets of silver teeth. You still have the maw coloured correctly down here. And on updates that have been given recently, by the way, and there's one there with a cupcake, for example, they still have this coloured maw that's in it. They haven't got any other alterations. So what they're trying to do now is they're trying to basically blame the fan. And they go on and say this in this here by saying this. They say they continually iterated the construction of the product and changes along the way. No, you didn't. What you did was you showed various different images, and most people, it's not upon the customer, by the way, to notice these things and bring it to your attention. It's on you as a company to be transparent, and you haven't been transparent in this case. Instead, what you've done is now you've let it slip so far, hoping that the fan wouldn't notice, and it seems like the fan didn't notice because of the lack of updates that were provided regularly. And never once did you say anything about the maw or the change to the maw. Never once did you say anything to the change to the bottom teeth. Never once did you say anything about the rings here that are now coloured blue instead of the yellow that they were. And this is just a couple of things that have happened. You have had the inside of the hands now that are blue that you didn't mention once either. So these are problems that are starting to arise from this, and basically what they're doing is they're trying to wash it off and say, well, you as the fans, you didn't take notice of this and that's your problem, that's on you. Not at all. You as the company that has been paid this money to give us a product that you have poured out there for over a year and have actually promoted for over a year looking like this version, that's on you to give us that. If you go to a car dealership, for example, and tell them, they show you a red car and you say to yourself, that looks absolutely hunky-dory, and when it comes then to you a year later, whenever it's been built, it has a green hood. That's not what you purchased. That is not what you asked for. That is not what you are sold. That is not what you are shown and what you agreed to. What you agreed to as a fan, and I'm going to reiterate to this, is this. The same items, by the way, that they have up on their Haslab page. Now, I think what's interesting is this is, when you look through the page, first of all, because I'm going to absolutely go through it now, they keep talking about 1986, the 1986 movie. They say that they want to recreate it and be as accurate to that as possible. So that already dispels people that are saying, well, this is actually from Netflix. Yeah, a 5-second glimpse of Unicron is going to be something that they're going to base a toy off on. I don't think so. So they keep saying it's a 1986 movie. The fact that they have Hot Rod and Galvatron in fairly G1 looking forms also would suggest that this is supposed to be 1986 inspired, and certainly as close to that as possible. The fact that there's an Autobot shuttle should also tell you, oh yeah, that's a 1986 inspired vehicle. They also say that their deco in this multiple times, by the way, in their article here, is very much so inspired by 1986. But we'll read this part here, part 7. This is an important part. They say 3D printing prototypes, bringing a sentient planet to life. The final stage in the resurrection of the legendary Unicron required 3D printing software. So they have all of these colour sheets, by the way, on their computers. They know exactly the way these things should go. So this is not an excuse. This isn't someone that's just made an error. This is a very big statement. Using rapid prototyping, we tested different surfaces, connection points, and conversion points. So they've known for a long time. So we'll just take it on face value and we'll say, well, the yellow point there maybe wasn't as strong as the blue one. Communicate that with the fans. Tell the fans, look, we had to change this part because we don't think that that's going to work or it's going to break over time. Communicate that with the fans. Why do you have blue bottom teeth? Communicate that with the fans. What's the reasoning for that? There's no reason. There's nothing out there. There's no statement from Hasbro to say why. There's a blanket statement that they're making there basically saying fans should have kept an eye out. No, it's up to you. It's on you to update us with what's going on. They then say ultimately a one-of-a-kind master model was created that we assembled and painted, each piece hand painted to the specs outlined in deco sheet. So when you have a deco sheet, that is telling you, and from what I understand from people that have the instructions in hand, it still has the yellow maw, by the way, that's down here, not the blue one that's been given to us. So they say then the final product is your final model. The mighty Unicron is reborn. So that would lead people to believe that this is the final model, so that will be the final product. So the final product is the final model, and vice versa. And people would say, yeah, that's fair enough, that's what it looks like, I'm buying into that. This is incredible, and I mean, this is akin to anybody that's listening to me here that may be a Star Wars fan. This is like getting the Razor Crest, and they're after being saying to people, yeah, we're going to have an accurate deco, it's going to be all silver, and then it comes out then, and the Razor Crest is orange, or there's a massive part of it there that's orange, that's not accurate to what's in the show. It's like picking up the Marvel Legends Sentinel and saying, yeah, we're going to put an actual, probably maybe a white all over it, or over a certain part where the white hasn't been there on the Sentinel before. That's just an example of a colour, for example. That's not right. And the fact that they've decided now to basically wash their hands of it and say, more or less, by the way, to blame the fans is absolutely disgraceful, and it's disgusting. Fans are right to be upset about this, and there's a couple of individuals that are out there that will say, well, it's a first world problem. Yeah, but a lot of people have laid money down on this, and if you laid money on something that you were really passionate about and you didn't get what you paid for, you'd be upset too. And if you're not, well, that's fair enough. But what I'm talking about here is not just for me, because I can tell you this isn't just a self-centered sort of video that I'm making. This is for all fans. Even those fans out there that are saying that they don't want or they don't think that there's any problem with what they've received, that's fine. But I'm also advocating for you to get a better product. I'm advocating for you to get the best product possible. I'm advocating for you to get the product that, in my opinion, we were promised and we were sold on. Not what we got. Because what we got isn't representative of anything that they still have on the website, by the way. I've seen a couple of individuals that have suggested perhaps legal eagle sort of stuff. That might be an avenue maybe if the company aren't willing to respond to the feedback that fans are giving them and to do something about it. It's possible that that's an avenue. I'm unsure. It would need somebody that would be a legal eagle to come in and suggest what could happen then. Because there is precedent for stuff like this before. So it's all there in black and white then as well too in writing. So I would be interested to see if anybody has any sort of knowledge on that and what they would say. Might be nothing, might be something. That's the way I look at things. But at the moment, what I suggest is the same thing again. Don't let up on the company on this. Contact them respectfully and say to them, I'm not happy with this. What are you going to do about that? Because here's the knock-on effect. Maybe the company don't care, because from rumours I've heard, they're probably going to scrap, or possibly going to scrap, the Haslab projects because it's so much of a headache, from what I understand. Now, I don't really agree with that rumour, because when you see the success of the sail barge, when you see the success of the Razor Crest, when you see the success of the Sentinel, and the Marvel Legends team, by the way, are already talking about doing the next project. So this is another precedent. We've also heard rumours possibly of a Power Rangers Haslab project. Now, someone that's intrinsic to that, and he was working at Power Rangers now, that worked very closely on this Unicron, and someone that I've spoken about very highly in past videos, is John Warden. And John Warden is at Hasbro. So I'm not advocating for people to contact John, but what I'm saying is, and I disavow anyone that's going to write him scathing stuff, absolutely. But what I'm going to say is, would I trust a project now under him that's with Power Rangers? No. Would I trust a project now under Hasbro, a Haslab? No. So what am I going to do? Well, it's as simple as this. I'm not going to support Haslab ever again as a result. And I don't think a lot of people will. Now, there's people there that are non-Transformers fans that are probably pointing at this and going, and don't care. But the knock-on effect is this. If this is let slip, then the company is going to get bolder and bolder, and it's going to do other cost-cutting measures then in other properties. So this is something that I'm deeply unhappy about, and I'm deeply unhappy about it because, first of all, I'm a passionate fan. I love Transformers. The fact that this is their own IP and they've let it down this badly is really startling. The second thing is because I'm so passionate as a fan, and I think fans have a right then to be passionate about these things, is I think that this sets a very bad precedent going forward, and what it means then is that a lot of people are going to drop support for this. That's not good. That's not something I want to see. I want to see a very good representation of this character. I want to see a representation of the work that was put into this by the team and given to fans properly. I don't want to see it go away, because this is something that I wasn't, very much so going to think that this is going to go this way at all. I have seen crowdfunding happen before with Comicsgate, for example, with the likes of Ethan Van Sciver, who has earned a serious amount of money. He has shown comic books, by the way, in particular the ones he draws. If he came out and the interior artwork wasn't the same, or wasn't him that was creating it, there would be problems, there would be backlash, and rightfully so. But he has to stand over his work, and he has stood over his work in the past, absolutely. And this is something that I think that the company need to do. Now, this is something that happened over a Kickstarter with Todd McFarlane and the Spawn, that there was a couple of things that happened there, and seems to be nothing being done about that. This isn't the point in time for companies to mess around like this, because people are short on cash. And another thing I'm going to add is that this last year, and probably plus now since we've been looking forward to this, people have gone through hard times. People have gone through difficult times. And this was something for a lot of people to look forward to. I've seen the pictures online of people, of fans. I'm not just going to say people, I'm going to say fans, that have made space in their home for this. And that have made all of that thoughts and love into this character and are severely disappointed. They're absolutely gutted with this as a result. Now, you'll get some clown shows that'll say, well, if you're that bothered about it, sell it on. That's not the point. The point is, this is an item that was advertised to us as such, and fans have a right, in my opinion, to expect what was advertised to them for a very long time. I think the company coming out and basically saying to fans, well, you are at fault for not keeping an eye on this, that's not good enough. I don't think it's good enough then for it to be expecting fans to check you left, right and centre. This is something, by the way, that cropped up not too long ago with Earthrise Optimus Prime. Earthrise Optimus Prime, which is a leader class figure, by the way, and people noticed, hey, you have it displayed there with grey hands and yellow eyes, what's going on with that? Hasbro changed the deco. They changed it then to blue eyes and then blue hands. No issue. So for me, with people who haven't noticed this now, and because people are starting to get it in hand, I expect the company to do something about this. And what I expect now is, I don't only expect the company to do something about this, I'm talking to you as a fan. If you're passionate about this and if you're disappointed about this, I expect you to contact them. Don't sit there and idly say nothing and hope that this is going to get better, and I hope that the company is going to come to the rescue. like I've said in a previous video, Hasbro have precedent. They have done a run for the white Dino Thunder Ranger helmet with a black outline. They have done this allegedly, from what I heard from Star Wars, for an AT-AT for the legs that was released with that one. I think was some sort of a issue, and that they were able to give another one out, or another 4 legs out. I think at this point in time, even though I think it'd be extremely cheeky, I think fans, even themselves, we are expecting this now to be righted, and I think we're expecting it to be right and to be free for fans. But I think even if, as cheeky as it is, I think if Hasbro came out with a fix for fans, and there was maybe a $10, €10 shipping fee to get it to you, I think people would be happy enough to pay it. And I'm saying that now with, I have to say, after that email, I'm saying that now with bad feelings, is what I'm going to say. I'm saying that with bad feelings. That if people had to pay to get this fixed, bad feelings. Now what does this do? What this does is it breaks any sort of confidence people have in Haslab ever again, rightfully so. This has a knock-on effect not only on Transformers, by the way, because if you think in a single vision that people just collect Transformers, you are wrong. They collect G.I. Joe, they collect Star Wars, they collect Marvel. So there's going to be a lot of people, by the way, they're just going to completely walk away from your brand. And then they're going to look at other things that are giving them what they see, and are improving things, and are listening to the fans. Rather than telling the fans, like you did in that email, that the fans should have been keeping an eye on, basically the fans are wrong. You should be listening to them and saying, we're going to do everything in our power to do something about this. This is an easy fix in my opinion. I think it's a very easy fix. And I'd be right now to fix it, rather than leave it and let it fester and let people get annoyed, and even more so annoyed. Anyway, I've had my 2 cents on that now. I hope that there's going to be another update on this, and I hope that people do continue to email them and tell them that they're unhappy with this, and possibly at that stage something will be done. This has to go to as high as it can within Hasbro, in my opinion. And even if you're getting a generic email back, ask them to forward it on to a manager, and so on and so forth, and continue on. Anybody that's illegal that wants to give advice on this one, feel free. I'd be delighted to hear it. There might be something, there might not be. That's absolutely fine. But again, maybe there is something that people could say, well, hang on. And as we know, there are certain places that they would be able to come together as a group, perhaps, and certainly do something about this, because I feel that the company now should do something about this, and I don't want to see there be any ill will long term towards this one. But there is going to be ill will long term towards this if this isn't rectified, if this isn't fixed. So I'm saying this as a fan. I want this to be improved for everybody, not just me, everybody, which is why I'm speaking about this. What's important now is that you make sure you share this video and that we keep this up, because these are 2 very quick emails that have come out. One acknowledging the problem, and the second then saying that the fans should have kept a close eye. Well, they've thrown down the gauntlet, and now it's up to you to pick the gauntlet up and say, right, I'm going to do something about this now. And you're going to continue then to respond to them, and continue to email them, and continue to tell them that you're not happy about this, because that is the only way you get the message through. If you keep the mouth shut, they're not going to do anything. A closed mouth never gets fed. That's a very important phrase, and that is something that I think we should know. And I suppose it's linked here to Unicron. An open mouth gets fed. Ba-dum-dum. There's a bit of a joke for you. So anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. I have this on the way myself, and I've paid an exorbitant amount to get this, by the way. So it's really killed me excitement for this, to be honest, and I really feel bad about that. And I feel bad then for people that might have bought multiples, or they certainly have bought one for somebody maybe that might be a gift, and they've been totally let down. There's numerous ways of looking at this. There's so many people out there with so many different stories that are going to be purchasing this and getting this in hand, and this isn't reflective of what they looked forward to. Not at all. There's people that are looking forward to this since 1996, and now they're going to be treated to something that is subpar. I don't think that's good enough. Gonna leave the video there. Make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share that video. That's really important. Drop a comment below. I love seeing the comments, and I have to say, over the last couple of days, there have been absolutely amazing comments, and I have to say, most of them, I'm going to say the large majority, the overwhelming majority, I'm going to say, were extremely positive, and I love to see that. It's fine if you have an opposing opinion, that's absolutely fine, but you have to understand where fans are coming from, like me, with this, And I am speaking for you. I'm speaking for you to get the best product possible, rather than get something that I think is second best. Winning mentality needs to be had with this one, and I think people need to stick together on this one. I think that this is a moment in time, by the way, that whatever your thoughts about the fandom or whatever sort of grievances you have with the fandom, now's the time to collectively come together. It doesn't matter whether you're happy with this or not. In terms of, if you're happy with the change that's made, fantastic. If you are and you're happy with it, more power to you. But use your voice too. Come together as the fans. It's something that's been intrinsic with the Autobots for a very long time, that people will come together, and even though it's not going to self-serve you, it's going to be there for everybody else, and to make sure that everybody is happy. And I think that that's important. Maybe that's something that might be a bit corny, and people will say, yeah, right. But seriously, all the voices together. I mean, if you're a Transformers fan, you should really know this. Till all are one. Look,